And I'm live. And just so everybody knows, my comments are fixed on Facebook. All right. So I was going to do something in Lexington. Construction, we won't even talk about construction through Lexington. It was ridiculous. Like, Cincinnati was nuts. Lexington was on, like, crack. But, so I couldn't get to where I wanted to in Lexington because traffic was just so bad. I couldn't even get off on my exit that I needed to get off on. So I was like, all right, I got to find a plan B. There's one thing I'm good at, plan B, yo. So I am right now in the middle of a Civil War battlefield that, I'll be honest, I eat, sleep, and breathe the Civil War. I never even knew this place existed. So I'm right now at Middle Creek Battlefield. This happened in, sorry, January 10th of 1862. Now, this was a very decisive battle for which way the state was actually going to go from what I've been reading and from what I took up off of my phone. This was a tragic example of brother fighting against brother, neighbor against neighbor. You had two units out of Kentucky versus that were Union, one that was Confederate. Now, the one that was Confederate was actually led by a General Humphreys, whereas the Union, let's see if you guys recognize this name, was led by a man named Garfield. Does anybody know who I'm talking about? The soon to be President of the United States. That's who I'm referring to. So, I'm actually right here. Now, the Union did, from what I read, they did end up winning the battle. The losses were not in the favor of the Confederates, but definitely not as bad as I've seen at other fields. Let me go over here to the sign. I'm going to flip the camera around so you guys can see what I've been reading. Okay, so it says here that it happened on January 10th, 1862. James Garfield, he led the Union's troops, and then there was Humphrey Marshall, who led the Confederacy. Now, Marshall had 1,967 men that he had brought with him. Union losses that day were only 3 killed, 18 wounded. Confederate, 12 killed, 15 wounded. Garfield's saving grace was at 4 p.m. when his reserves arrived from Paintsville. Now, with him having fresh troops, he was able to put the beating down on Marshall's Confederates. Now, out here, where it's mowed, is actually down in here is where the Union soldiers came through. But I found this interesting. If you look over here where it's paved, the paved path, which I actually already walked and read some of the signs, this is where the Confederate troops were. There's actually a creek that runs right back along the tree line, and there's a bridge right over there. So the Confederate troops came up this way, and then the Union troops came up this way. Now, out this way, you've got Virginia, West Virginia, and Ohio. I'm right now in the eastern corner of Kentucky here. They've actually got a map. I'll go ahead and show this to you. What's cool is they've got all the battles and the skirmishes here marked on this map. Now, I'm right here at Middle Creek, and you can see we've got West Virginia, Virginia, and Ohio right up there. Now, let me get to the hauntings, because some of the stuff I read, quite interesting. Hey, Lori, how are you? Oh, thank you. I'm so glad that you love watching these. Okay, so with the hauntings, here's the really interesting part. It's been claimed that you can still see the soldiers battling it out on the field, that you can still see the Union soldiers coming up out of the trees and meeting the Confederates right here in the middle. That you can still see a lone Confederate soldier walking through the field by himself, and you can still hear the moans and the cries of the wounded at night. I find that quite interesting. And I'll be honest, this is a hidden gem. And you guys know I love my hidden gems. This is a battlefield from the Civil War that I honestly had no clue even existed. It's battlefields like these that we need to be bringing attention to, everyone. We need to be showing homage and bringing back to life. You know, unfortunately, hey Darren, how are you? I see Facebook now, you guys. I fixed StreamYard. Yes. Win for Bree. So here's the cool thing about all this is that people like us in the paranormal community and in every community alike, we can start finding these battlefields and we can start visiting them. We can start bringing them back to life. We can start bringing our children and our grandchildren back to these places. There's only one other car in the parking lot, guys, and it was empty when I got here, and I haven't seen anybody out here walking the field. I haven't seen anybody whatsoever. 2 cars pulled in. I think they were selling moonshine, to be honest. And then there's somebody here on a bike. So, I mean, it's places like these that need to be acknowledged. We need to be bringing back to the forefront. Everybody knows Gettysburg. Everybody knows Antietam. Everybody knows Shiloh. They know about Sherman marching down and burning everything in his path. But what about these little battles like this, where it was brother against brother, and it was a turning point for which way Kentucky would end up going for a while? The fact that the Union won this fight, and it was 3 regiments, all out of Kentucky, literal brother against brother, neighbor against neighbor, fighting in this. You know, it's heartbreaking when you think about it, that we were a country so divided at one point. I'm at Middle Creek Battlefield here in Kentucky. So I'll be honest, from what I read, they do ghost walks and stuff at during certain times. Sometimes they do tours and whatnot. I would be quite interested in coming back to go to one, especially with what I was reading. There's videos on YouTube about this battlefield. There's actually, if you Google it, you'll even find where people have posted about it on Facebook. Um, so there's quite a bit of activity at this battlefield. Why I have never heard about it before is beyond me. I definitely would love to come back here if I can find when they're having a ghost tour. Like, count me in. And if anybody wants to come with me, dude, you know I road trip, let me know. We'll make a party out of it. So, you know, if anybody knows of any other battlefields like this, let me know. I would love to highlight them. We need to be bringing attention back to these places, you know, so they're not forgotten. But I got to jump back in my car. I got delayed by at least 2 hours due to construction through Cincinnati and Lexington. Dude, I'm going to say this. I know I have totally bitched about Indiana construction. Indiana, I'm sorry. I love you. Kentucky, dude, you guys just shot to #1 for Sucksville with construction. No joke. And I know that there's a lot of people that follow me and are friends with me that are from Kentucky. Please don't take that personally. I've just never gone through construction that was so horrendous in my life. I literally sat in a parking lot for quite some time. But I got to get back in my car. I'm about half hour out from the hotel that I'm going to be at, which is pretty cool, which makes it even more tempting to come back here at nighttime. But I did notice that they have gates that they put across. So, not really going to be tempting fate. But I'm going to jump off here. I'll see you guys later. I'm going to actually go take a look around where I'm going to be staying because I saw that they even have a ghost walk in that town. And I'm kind of curious as to what they highlight on that ghost walk. And if I can find out, I would love to walk around town and see if I can highlight those locations for you guys tonight. I know that I've got a couple of places tomorrow that I'm definitely going to be heading up. You guys won't want to miss it. From what I understand, there's going to be the Hatfield and McCoy cemetery that I will definitely be hitting up. I'm going to have some of my Get Haunted family with me, so you guys will definitely be seeing them as I'm doing that. Hey, Curtis, how are you? So, yeah, I finally made it. Yeah, I'm about half hour out now. So, but I'm going to jump off here, guys. I got to get back on the road. And I'll see you guys later. So, hope everybody's having a fabulous Friday. It is freaking hot out here in this black shirt. But you know what? Geen. If you haven't read Scott's books, go find them. They're on Amazon. Shout out to Scott again. Thank you again, sir. He's the one that gave me the exclusive access to revealing the mass grave of Geen's victims, the one that includes Mary Hogan. So I will talk to you guys later. I love you. Mwah. Oh, and check out my new nails. I got Ghost and Moons. And guess what? They glow in the dark. How cool is that going to be on the investigation tomorrow? So, see you guys later. Peace. Don't forget, be like Brie.